What's going on, everyone? So last night, the Los Angeles Lakers showed that they're not there yet, right? Lakers are not a contender, or not a full contender yet, right? You know, OKC gets eliminated or something like that. Like, the game was embarrassing. Lakers got ran through. The game was over at halftime. I mean, it wasn't they jumped out to a 9-0 lead, never looked back. And that 9 turned into 15, turned into 20, turned into 25, turned into 30, and then, you know, at some point they were down, 38 or whatever. You're just like, man, it's terrible, right? I don't think there's a lot of factors that go into it. Now, look, again, this is what OKC does. OKC is the better team right now. Lakers have a lot of growth, a lot of work to do, a lot of development still to go through, right? You know, this I thought was a good test. It was a good barometer, right? Did a video about it, diving into the game, and I said the champs test. This would be a good way to kind of gauge where are we and how far are we. Again, it's not that they lost; it's the manner in which they lost. They got dominated. Right? That was a good old-fashioned behind the barn whooping. And what's crazy is the Lakers have really had OKC's number the last few years, and even last year, right? Like, Lakers almost beat them back-to-back in dominant. They did. You gotta remember, they did this to OKC in OKC last year. But it's a new year. You don't think OKC remembers that? You don't think that that's on OKC's mind? You don't think OKC went into this game and didn't want to send a statement? Didn't want to send a message that, like, hey, don't get too comfortable. You know, you got us last year. We slept on you. We're not sleeping on you this year, right? But again, there's a lot of factors that are going to go into it, right? If you just look at the game at a glance, right, you're just like, God, like Lakers aren't even close. You need to tear this whole team down and rebuild it, right? I don't think you need to go that crazy, but Lakers need stuff, right? I've talked about it. I talked about it in the offseason, talked about it during preseason. I've talked about it several times during this regular season. People ask, like, Tyler, why do you talk so much about trades and stuff? Because we need them, right? Like, why do I keep talking about trades? Because we need them, right? I'm not talking about trades because we're a perfect team and we're the best team in all of basketball, ready to go win a second straight championship. No, we still have work to do. Now, it doesn't mean that you need, again, to revamp this entire team and this entire roster and all that stuff. Again, don't underestimate the value of one or two guys, especially athletic two-way guys out on the perimeter. Not just that, but LeBron would have. I don't think LeBron helps the Lakers win this game because this was just dominant. But I don't think it would have gotten as out of hand as it did, right? Because you could have put the ball in LeBron's hands. He's just bigger, stronger, faster. He's experienced. Like, he just gives you another ball handler. Austin Reeves. This was a game that has its concerns. Right? Austin Reeves had his struggles, had his issues, taking care of the basketball. Luka Doncic too. I mean, the Thunder are built perfectly for the modern game, right? They're perfectly built for that team that just sends these waves of athletes and these waves of, 6'3" to 6'5" guys. And every time you turn, like, they might even be undersized, but guess what? Every time you turn around, there's 3-4 bodies on you, and you make that pass, and then they shift over, and then that guy's got 3 or 4 bodies. It's because they have the speed, the athleticism, all of that. Now, also, once you get to the playoffs and the game tightens up, things get a little tighter, right? The pace slows down a lot. You saw it even last year. Like, OKC was like number one in transition, all that stuff. Like, number one in defense again, which they are this year again, and you saw that. But the game will slow down. Game will get a little tighter, and I mean, you saw Denver, like what Denver was able to do. And Denver had more than, 4 healthy players. They might have actually beat them. The Pacers just kind of played their game, and they just had the guys to kind of match it. Right? Lakers don't have the guys to match that game. But you make the adjustments, you make the changes, you slow down the pace. You're able to do things in the playoffs you're not getting able to do. Like I said, you'll have LeBron back. Hopefully playing at a high level by that point. He's got his legs under him and all that stuff, right? So I do think that there are factors that would go into this. And then also, again, it's just games like this happen, especially against the top teams like OKC. I mean, OKC does this to everybody. It's not like the Lakers, not like OKC, is 1-11. And no, they're winning by like an average of like 30 points, 20 points a game like last season. They beat everybody by double digits, right? They're number one in defense. They're one of the top offense teams in all of basketball. This is what they do. This is why they're the best team in the basketball. It's why they won the championship last year. It's why they've been just insanely dominant and off to one of the best starts ever in the history of the game after winning and following up a championship, right? There have been teams, they still have a ways to go, but they're on that type of run. And it's because they are the stage, they are the barometer, right? But it's why I keep saying, like, Lakers still need things. Lakers need, can you go get a Keon Ellis and an Andrew Wiggins, right? You go get, again, another guy or two that can now match some of that athleticism, now match some of that versatility, that can help in some of the key areas and hustle and do the dirty work and all that stuff, right? OKC also shot the ball very well. Lakers did not. Credit OKC's defense. Their defense is part of why, but Lakers also, they had several just open looks and just weren't able to do it. Thunder have not been a good 3-point defensive team this season, surprisingly. They are, again, the best defense, but they've struggled to defend the three this season, which is odd for a team that is as good defensively. But the Lakers are 24. Like, there's a stat going, right? The Lakers are the second best, offense or 2-point offense in all of basketball behind in front of OKC. Number one in front of OKC. But they're 21st in 3-point percentage, right? So they're an excellent 2-point team, which makes sense. You got Luka, you got Austin Reeves, you got DeAndre Ayton, Jackson Hayes, Jared Vanderbilt, right? Even when LeBron comes back, Lakers usually are a really good 2-point team. It's the 3-ball. So the one weakness that OKC has, the Lakers aren't good enough to punish. Right? So, because they don't have those two-way guys. So you don't have the athleticism, you don't have the defense, you don't have the shooting, you don't have a lot of the things that you need to really punish a team like OKC and exploit some of their flaws. Right? So, again, there's work to be done. We've seen this Lakers team be able to compete with OKC. Right? It's, again, you never want to overreact to a game. I'd be curious to see, like, if the Lakers played them tomorrow, I'd be curious to see how that game goes, right? Because I do think the Lakers would make some adjustments. I think they'd make some changes. I think they'd make some moves. Again, it's the beauty of a playoff series where, one game, like, you have multiple games. You have 4, 5, 6, 7 games to really kind of get a look at this and make adjustment accordingly each game in and game out. And I do think the Lakers would do that if that was correct. But a lot of it is just, again, taking care of the basketball, things like that. Right? Like I said, LeBron will solve a lot when he gets back in that regard against teams like OKC. But I talked about it even going in the Atlanta game. I even said Atlanta, despite them missing everybody, could still beat the Lakers because they are exactly what the Lakers' kryptonite has been the last few years. Youth, athleticism, and speed. Like, you want to beat the Lakers? You push the pace. You get out in transition, because Lakers have been a terrible transition defense. I mean, they've actually been pretty good this year, but again, it's early in the season. They haven't been average since 2010. So they're not a good transition defense. So you just push the pace against them. You shoot a bunch of threes, and you trust that your athleticism and youth can chase down those loose balls and and win those 50-50 balls and all that stuff. And Atlanta just outplayed them, outworked them. Again, that was just a game where you just got outworked and outplayed, right? This Thunder game was just, again, you got dog walked, right? This was the Thunder showing, like, hey, we're better than you right now. Now, again, context important. 12 games in the season. Still have a lot to do. You haven't been fully healthy. You still got to build chemistry. Still things you got to work on. There's still things you got to improve on. But Lakers still need moves. There's still trades that need to be done. There's still things that the Lakers have to get done. There just is, right? Rob Pelinka at some point is going to have to turn some water into wine here a little bit. Again, I don't think you need to, that's it. We have to turn, we have to basically send out 5 guys and bring in a new 5 guys. And it has to, no, you don't have to necessarily do all that, but Lakers probably need about 2, maybe 3 more guys. Either like a really good high-end guy and like a low-tier guy or a mid-tier guy. If you can get like I said, a Wiggins and an Ellis, Keon Ellis, like that would do wonders for this team, or a Bridges and Ellis, something like that. Or you got to get like 3, kind of like an Ellis, Thibault, and Highsmith, like something like that, where you're getting like multiple guys, and then at that point you're getting those guys. But Again, don't underestimate the value of one or two guys. You get a guy like an Andrew Wiggins out there that can defend multiple positions, create his own shot, right? He's a guy that can make plays out of the post. He's got the size, the length to shoot over the top, right? Has the athleticism, chase down those 50-50 balls, like defend SGA, make things difficult for him. Right? Like there's things that you can work on and improve. But I've talked about it, right? Like Lakers just injecting athleticism would do one. Like LeBron is going to help a lot for this team because he's still probably our most athletic player. And then you inject in a dude Thero, right? Like who again just gives you some athleticism, right? We saw how good Bronny can be, right? Just because of his athleticism. Right? As that point of attack, guy that can go get those 50-50 balls. Like Jared Vanderbilt helps so much in those areas, right? Like Lakers lack athleticism. They just got a lot of one-dimensional guys and they have a lot of lack of athletes, right? At an NBA level. I mean, all these guys are athletes, but there's levels to this even in the NBA. And it's why, a Rui and stuff like that. Like I love those guys, but they got to go because you got to get the athleticism and the pieces that you actually need. Could you imagine Rui in a 7-game series having to chase around these guys at OKC and having to chase around Chet and, J-Dub and all these other, like, no, that's barbecue chicken. That's like, oh, please, like keep Rui on us, right? Like, so again, it's just, OKC just showed that they're the best team in all of basketball, and the Lakers aren't there yet, right? That doesn't mean they can't get there at some point. It is, again, one game. I don't want to get too ahead, but it is. It's frustrating. It's hard to watch that game and go like, yeah, we can win a championship. We're a contender. But I mean, look, again, they're doing that to everybody. Even other teams that are contenders, right? Even other teams that could be, go look at some of those Pacer games. Again, like, playoffs are a different beast. You get LeBron back and you make a couple key moves. Lakers can be in the mix. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. If you enjoy these types of videos, truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.